Today, 24th of May, year 2024, we we give the talk. We talk about don't practice as though reciting by heart. No? When asked where it comes from, ordinary people say that the flame which rises with a whoosh when the sulfur, the head of matchstick, is struck against the sulfur bearing strip on the side of matchbox comes from the sulfur on the matched head. That answer is not complete. Have you tried just keeping a match by itself and seeing what happens? If the matched head is not struck against the strip on the side of the matchbox, a flame will not burst out. Nor will a flame burst out if the person who wants a fire doesn't take that the matchstick and strike it. When someone who wants a fire takes hold of matchstick and strikes it against the strip on the side of the box, a flame burst out. There must be the strip on the side of the matchbox as well as the sulfur on the matched head. There must also be a person's action or instigation and the desire to create a flame. Only when there comes together, the flame does arise. Where does this flame come from? It does not come from the matchbox, nor does it come from the matchstick by itself, nor does it come from the person's effort. People who understand the concept that the flame arises only when the causes come together should understand that the physical and the mental dharma coming together and occurring in the body. The seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and thinking are just like this. To know this personally, it's necessary to study and observe everything while hearing, while seeing, while smelling, while risking, while falling, while sitting, while touching, while bending, stretching, leaning, tilting the head, lifting, moving, and pleasing. At the start of observation, due to the presence of mental effort, viriya, laziness no longer arises because of directing the mind straight to the arising object. The sort of the attitude that doesn't want to exert the energy, but just wants to retract does not arise. Being active and aiming are very important for the people beginning the practice. The yogi cannot be slow or sluggish. You cannot be inactive, nor can you practice as though you are reciting a lesson. To practice the meditation means to develop the energies from the within that are not initially present. You may practice 1 week, 2 weeks, or a month. However, there will be no difference if you don't produce the not yet existing energies by means of the practice, but just the things about things, and you are does the work superficially. I have said that whether a person is the practicing to still the mind with the method of samatha or the practicing to know the true nature that really exists in the body, as you are doing now, there must be ardent effort to prepare the mind to reach the object and stay there. Plus, the jhanic factor of aiming and directing the mind to the object. These two factors are very important. The reason why is that people are lazy. This is the called sloth and toba, atina and the maida in Pali. This is the quality of not wanting to exert the energy, but just stopping short and withdrawing. People don't want to exert themselves much when it comes to do beneficial tasks. They just want to be comfortable. They have the buas, but they don't want to use them. When the quality of withdrawing becomes strong, the mind becomes the frozen solid, just as water freezes. When it becomes the cold, or the butter solidifies when it gets the cold. A task that can only be done when something is the liquid and cannot be done if that thing becomes the frozen. When the mind becomes solid, it is called topa, metta in Pali. It is said that if the mind doesn't want to exert the energy, but just withdraws, the quality of lazy, quote, sluggishness makes the mind solidifying. It becomes unworkable. Thus, in order to make the mind a bit active, you must agitate it. You must direct the mind, aim, estimate, and focus keenly. You must apply the mental energy. It is important for the yogi to fulfill these two qualities. Proportion to make the mind and get to the object quickly as soon as it arises, and aiming so that the mind goes straight there are important every second of the time at the start of practice. There is no need to practice a bit and then go see whether the mind was aimed accurately or not. When you practiced a lot, you come to know your own condition. You come to know what is needed. You know that if the mind doesn't reach the object, it is because the energy is needed. If it misses the object, then the aim is not present. If it misses the object, then the aim is not present. Thus, as you practice, you come to understand that the gaps and know them as the being fit up. To gain what the peace. In this the way the mind becomes the cook, becomes the cook, sati organs as well as the samadhi. If viriya, sati, samadhi, and aiming occur every second without a gap, so that pure clean mind occurs one after another. Amazing energies come from this. You come to know nama and rupa within the body. When these energies become complete, you also come to know how cause and effect are related. Continuing from this point, you will come to know how the phenomena passed away, having just announced rising. They arise once the moment and pass away the next. When this type of knowledge continued and becomes fully developed. You sure to encounter true special happiness. A person who encounters special happiness just once also develops lasting morality, sila. When sila is the lasting, a person is the completely human, and he no longer lets his the mind dwell on unwholesome objects. The mind possesses the control. You will no longer make any large errors by giving and to his the mind. You have to become able to control your mind for the remainder of your life. The knowledge of whether the task you have about to do is the beneficial or not, and whether it is the suitable or not, takes precedence. You don't do what is the not beneficial, not does that you do what is the not suitable, even though it may be beneficial. Your path in life become straighter than before. When you do and say only what is the beneficial and suitable, because you are able to avoid what is the unbeneficial and unsuitable. You no longer harms either yourself or others in any way. Having the human culture means you do not abuse others because you are able to control yourself completely. This is a quality that makes your individual what peaceful. What the beast truly they come if used could make your own individual world peaceful, and thereby increase the peace in the world, in the host world. Okay. So repeat after me, no? This paragraph. Practice Satipatthana. Practice Satipatthana. You should control yourself completely. You should control yourself completely. No? Or practice Satipatthana. You should control yourself completely. Okay, please recite. Practice Satipatthana. You should control your practice. This is a quality that make your individual word that makes your individual word peaceful. What the peace would truly come, what the peace would truly come if you could make your own individual word. If you could make your individual word peaceful and thereby increase peace in the whole world. Mm. Okay, don't recite. Mm. The type of the words, the peace, they are the talking about now is the just the shouting about the nothing. Mm. Only if there is individual peace, there can be true what the peace. For this the reason, people who want what the peace must try to gain the peace on a personal first, individual level. Then they must increase their numbers gradually from one to many. People must try to create a small group. Therefore, what is most important is not to think about anything, but to practice, to develop the habit of applying mental effort and accurate aim. As soon as the object arises, so that the mind reaches it immediately, right away. Only if you experience the taste of the Dhamma, you will experience true peace. Yogis who have come here to practice had to leave the happiness of sense pleasures behind. If you let go of that and do not gain Dhamma happiness here, then you do not get either type of the happiness. In that case, there is no meaning to what they are doing. Therefore, it is very important for your life to be meaningful. A yogi studying to meditate have to observe each newly appearing object one by one without a gap when they are hot, right? Once they are occurring, it is the true that they must observe them one by one. You must also observe using the labels. That is burdensome for some the yogis. They say that meditating According to the Buddha's teachings, as instructed by our benefactor, Mahasi Sayadaw, labeling each newly arising object is a burden. Some just say this, and they go one step further, asking, isn't it all right just to watch? Simply watching the objects accomplishes that task. At that, I want to say to those yogis trying to end that and see what happens. The nature of the happen to labor is that it is necessary to observe using labels. It's the not doing something superfluous and unnecessary. For example, children beginning nursery school are taught to sing and listen to songs at the first. So they will enjoy being at school. When they become a bit happy at school, they start learning the alphabet. They learn together with little boys. Every language starts with learning the letters. The children have to learn by sounding out the letters. After they can say the sounds of the letters, they start to learn how to spell small vocabulary words, just a few at the first. They cannot learn a lot or at once. For example, when learning the English, children learn to say A, B, C, D, and so on. Then they learn to spell small words like CAD, cat, RAD, rat, and so on. Just a few at a time. They cannot learn just by reading silently. The students have to learn how to pronounce the letters and words correctly, following the teacher's example. Only when you listen to the sounds and say them clearly, the listeners can understand what is being said. When the speech is unclear, it cannot be understood. There are the four characteristics of any extremely important task. Yeah. Number one, a person cannot fail to do it. It must be done. A person cannot fail to do it. It must be done. Number two, it must be done personally. It must be done personally. Number three, it must be done regularly and in time. It must be done regularly and in time. Last one, number 4. After doing it, the benefits it brings are many. A person can gain unlimited benefits. If a task has these the 4 characteristics, it's certainly among the most important things a person can do. It's very important to teach children studying school how to pronounce things properly. They must speak correctly. The teacher must show them correct pronunciation. And they must copy him correctly. The teacher must pronounce the words himself. He must do so regularly. He must also teach full time. The benefit is that when the sounds of the letters are correct, later the children become able spell words out loud. Next, they gradually learned to read short sentences and paragraphs. At the first, they have to read aloud. Later, when they practice a lot, they become skilled at reading without having to sound things out or say them aloud. They can read silently in their mind and understand everything. They come to be able to read big books. At that time, they no longer need to spell the words out the way they did when they learned as youngsters. They understand when they read things silently in their minds, observing and labeling the rising objects within the body when they appear is the important task for the studying yogis to do. It is very meaningful to observe using labels in the early stage when the energies of sati, samadhi, and jnana, knowing, are not yet strong. The benefits are very great. The yogis need to bear in this in mind. Okay, we will stop our discourse for today. By practicing vipassana meditation, may all yogis be liberated from all suffering. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.